German and French leaders met Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko in Ukrainian capital Kyiv on Thursday in a fresh push for peace in East Ukraine. The coordinated trip by German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President François Hollande came amid an upsurge in fighting in East Ukraine between Ukrainian troops and Russian-backed militants. A ceasefire signed between the two sides last September has failed to hold.
I really appreciate that you accept my invitation and make a decision to come in a very urgent time.
Merkel and Hollande travelled to Moscow on Friday to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin, where they will continue talks. Prior to the trip to Kiev, Hollande had promised that he and Merkel would make a, quote, new proposal to solve the conflict in East Ukraine. The two European leaders' arrival in the Ukrainian capital coincided with a visit by US Secretary of State John Kerry. At a joint press conference with the Ukrainian Prime Minister, Kerry said US President Obama would soon make a decision on whether or not to provide Ukraine with lethal military aid. But he also stressed his country's commitment to a peaceful solution.
The only way that it ends is through diplomacy. We have no illusions that there is a, quote, military solution. And contrary to some comments that I've read in the last days, coming from some of the folks who have made the choices to fuel this conflict, we are not choosing a military outcome. We are choosing a peaceful solution through diplomacy, but you cannot have a one-sided peace.
Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk said his country needs peace, but not at the expense of territorial integrity.
We need to get peace, but we will never consider anything that undermines territorial integrity, sovereignty, independence of Ukraine and its European future.
Amid the diplomatic efforts to end the 10-month-old conflict in East Ukraine, intense fighting continues. Violence has flared in recent weeks after a period of relative calm, with the Russian-backed militants making territorial gains and civilian casualty numbers rising.